Bulldog fans, welcome to another episode of the Terry Sanford Coaches Report. I'm your host, Coach Jeff Morehead, and with me as always, Coach Mack. Coach Mack, a big senior night win last week over Lumberton, 42-6 to move us to 6-2 on the season and 2-1 in conference play. Coach, just some thoughts from Friday night.
Well, love getting everybody in the ball game, especially the seniors, starting them on senior night and being able to navigate through that. Really thought we came out fast, liked the intensity, especially on the defensive side of the ball, man. I felt like we just were flying around, a little more comfortable. I know we moved pieces around, but I really, really liked the attitude and really liked the way each player kind of pulled for each other, whether it was a senior getting in the game to, get some playing time or a younger guy that, came in after them.
It's always good to send your seniors out the right way.
Yes.
A 42-6 win where, like you said, everybody got to see the field on Friday night. Just a good way to end senior night.
Yeah, it really is because, we had homecoming back-to-back, go on the road. They come right back home for senior night, so they're kind of sandwiched there close together. So really wanted to highlight our seniors and, especially even some of the guys that, the people might not know. They might not have been on a podcast or a coach's show. And, everybody's so instrumental on a football team, man. And, it's just everything, the buy-in, the team camaraderie, and now everybody pulled for each other, was really pleased with it.
Like we talked about in earlier episodes, everybody has a role. Scout team, just being a good teammate, showing some senior leadership on and off the field. So all of our guys have a role, on every team. That's what senior leadership is. Offensively, a good night for the Bulldogs. Sebastian, a touchdown. Jacob Moore, 2 touchdowns. Isaiah Washington, 2 touchdowns, to include an 80-yard run to start the second half, Coach.
Yeah, when he lowered that shoulder, he got me fired up. I'm not going to lie. He just brings that physical aspect that we need and has been so helpful to us in that spark plug. When he lowered that boom on the young man from Lumberton, he fired up me and the whole team. So.
And Gavin Kraut, who's on the show today, had a pick 6 in the first half for us. Just a good team effort. 275 yards rushing. Kyle Andre, a big part of that offensive line, is our second player of the week this week, and we'll talk to him about just O-line play and the brotherhood that position has.
Yep.
Defensively, a good night for the Bulldogs, to include Gavin's interception, a lot of punts, a lot of 3-and-outs. Lumberton, 109 yards total offense, Coach.
Yeah, when your defense outscores the other team's offense, it's a pretty good night, with the touchdown from Gavin and the extra point, you're 7-6 up on defense. And Gavin just seems to have a knack. I know, it's the pressure up front. He just has a knack for the football. Trail. Felt like Terrell was all over the field Friday night. Really got a lot of pressure up front, owning the line of scrimmage, and that's the keys for us. Blocking and tackling, owning the line of scrimmage on both sides, whether it be offense or defense, and then being physical. I thought we were very physical.
Yeah, I was real proud of the defense, especially my 2 linebackers that played most of the game, Bo South and Latrell Lynch. I thought collectively that was their best game together all year. Yep. I think they combined for about 15, 16 tackles, a lot of, sacks, hurries, tackles for loss. That is momentum going into a game this week. That's a huge game for us as far as playoffs and conference championships. We'll talk more about that at the end of the show. And the one thing that I also want to point out, we prepped all week for Lumberton, and we find out right before the game that the quarterback that we had prepped for all week was unable to play. So that threw a curveball, but the defense responded well, Coach.
Yeah, and that's another sign of that maturity and great coaching that you guys did on the defensive side of the ball. You have a game plan, you go over it all week, and it just goes to show you really the best coach teams and the best teams here going forward and in the playoffs are the teams that are coached well on Friday night, the adjustments that are being made. You can see all the film in the world you want, but nobody's, held to that on Friday night. So the adjustments made on Friday night are major key.
And be able to adjust that quickly, too. I mean, I don't think the players and the coaches get enough credit for, thinking about something during the game, implementing it at halftime. I know halftime on Friday was a little bit longer, but normally you have about 10 minutes in the locker room to really talk about the first half, talk about what you want to do different in the second half. And even though, you might be up, there's still some things that you might want to do differently in the second half because you can't simulate those game reps during practice, Coach.
You don't make those adjustments, you won't be up for long. So, it's it doesn't matter. We kind of throw the score out and, you play to it after you make the adjustments. But, technology is a big key, right, in these days. But think about it. If you don't know what to do with that technology, that's, to me, is really the key. And you guys on defense did a great job at halftime. With the quarterback not starting, and then offensively, felt like we saw some things that we could take advantage of that we saw on film earlier in the week, and really drove it home.
One of the things that happened at halftime on Friday, Coach, was our baseball field being named after someone that you and I know very well. We've coached together. We're on the hallway together. A man that we know that gives so much back, not just him, but his entire family gives so much back to Terry Sanford. Our baseball film was named after Coach Guy. I know that means a lot to him and his family, and I know that means a lot to us having seen all the hard work that he does.
It really does. As a graduate from Terry Sanford, I came up playing baseball. Even when I returned, after college, even coached Coach Guy, is my first coaching job. And you don't talk about Terry Sanford baseball without saying the words Sam Guy, Coach Sam Guy in them. Tremendous honor. Well-deserved, and not just an honor for Coach Guy, which, believe me, is well-deserved, but for his family and all those coaches like Coach Holy that's spent so many years in that program. It's just it was a blessing to see.
Coach Matt Holstein has been with Coach Guy since he came back to Terry Sanford after the 2010 school year. 400 wins for Coach Guy in his career. 305 of those are at Terry Sanford. We could talk more and more about their program, but all we have is a few minutes, Coach. We could have a couple of podcasts. We could have an hour documentary on what he has done. And I also found out that he got an award that he is extremely proud of. He got Field of the Year, which he's still smiling about that.
Yes, and that tells you everything about Coach Guy. All the wins, all the things, the people he's put in the majors, helped guys get better at baseball, but yet go to the other level. And the most satisfying award to him is the Field Award. He get recognized for that. And as someone who played at Terry Sanford back in the day, it has changed. People would not even recognize what he's done with it. It's like a minor league park, in my opinion.
All right. After the break, we will have our two players of the week, junior offensive lineman Kyle Andre and senior athlete Gavin Kraut. We're back after these messages.
Go Dogs.
Hey everyone, this is Brian Moore, your Athletic Booster Club president here at Terry Sanford. Just asking you to please go to the coachesreport.com and subscribe to our amazing, one of the only high school podcasts in the country. So we'd appreciate if you would go support and share and see all the information coming up in the weeks forward and the past game. We really appreciate it, and go Dogs.
Welcome back to the Terry Sanford Coaches Report. Coach Mack, our first player of the week.
My pleasure, Coach. Our first guest tonight is Kyle Andre, junior lineman.
Kyle, you're a part of the offensive line you've kind of grown up together, playing JV together. It's a group that is all back next year. What do you like best about playing offensive line?
Playing O-line is just like it's a family. It's 5 guys all just trying to do one thing, have one goal.
And we'll talk more about the family atmosphere of the O-line and a couple questions for you in a minute or so. But, Coach, when you hear offensive line and family, working together, what does that mean?
Well, we were replacing all 5 linemen this year, and, I really like this group. I tell Kyle and them, they bring the energy at practice. I tell them they're the most important unit because they had to gel this year. And linemen, like you just talked about, gelling, family, those things. I really, really, really is excited as those weeks have gone on to see those guys gain that unity and that gelling part. And they played extremely well.
Our offense is putting up, over 40 points a game, Kyle, and the offensive line is a huge part of it. Just what's it like being part of such an explosive offense?
It's great, just knowing I can do one block and I have the people to take it to the house. It makes my job a lot easier and makes the game a lot more fun.
Sometimes that's all it takes, Coach, is just one block and then you're going to the house.
Yeah, those guys trying to take up for some of the younger guys on the offensive line. We just told Kyle and Jameer, who we've had on the show, hey, just do your job, and I think they've gained that confidence, with the athletes that we have. If they just do their job and they, tell the other guys just to do their job, things will turn out like they have this year.
Family, brotherhood are 2 words I've heard for the offensive line this year.
Love it.
You guys are a bond on the field. Are you guys tight off the field too?
Oh yeah, I mean, we all just try to, talk every day. They know if they need something, they just text, call, anything like that.
Yes.
And earlier in the year, I heard about going to Waffle House after games. What's that? What's that like for you guys?
It's a nice little thing that we do. It's just try to, keep the chemistry on and off the field.
Who can eat the most out of the offensive line?
James Parker.
James Parker. Not surprised by that.
It doesn't surprise me at all, yeah.
All right. We got a couple regular seasons game left. The playoffs are right around the corner. A lot of those individual and team goals are closer to us, but what goals did you have for yourself or the offensive line prior to the season started?
Prior to the season starting, my personal goal was to make all conference. And for the offensive line wise, it's always been having 3,000 total rushing yards, 2,000 yard rushers, and Jacob and Zay. That's just been the goal since the start of the year.
And that's a goal that Coach Toller has had for years. Yeah. And so, Coach Mack, for new guys, new players to embrace those goals that have been around for a while, that just talks about just the culture of Terry Sanford football.
It really does. And, they concentrate more on that team aspect, the running backs hitting those 1,000-yard marks. And just been really impressed with Kyle's leadership and the way he's brought the younger guys on the line. His confidence has grown each week. And it's just impressed with how he puts the team aspect first.
All right, game Friday night at Cape Fear. It's a rivalry game. Like everybody knows that. We beat Cape Fear if we do what?
I mean, we just got to establish the run. They're a good team against the run. We got to make sure that we can move the ball and air yards, running yards, all that.
And over 250 yards of rushing last Friday. That's good momentum going into this week, Coach.
Yeah, very. I like his answer. I like running the football. If we can establish the run, the play action game, screen game, all that stuff comes into play. But we feel real confident with those guys working as a unit, and really, like I said, really, really proud of Kyle's leadership on that offensive line.
All right. Any favorite players, favorite teams you have?
Yeah. Well, I'm a Bama fan for college, and I'm a Falcons fan for the NFL. And my favorite player, I guess I got to go, all time, it's Julio Jones, because he got me into play, watching football. So,
Coach, an offensive lineman telling about a receiver being the favorite player. But if we go back and watch some Julio Jones, he loved blocking.
Yeah, and he's a physical guy, so we'll take that. And if Julio Jones got him to play football, thank you, Julio Jones. We send him a shout-out.
Kyle, looking forward to a lot of big things from you on the field going forward as we finish out the regular season and go to the playoffs. We're back after these messages with our next player of the week.
Go Dogs.
Welcome back to the Terry Sanford Coaches Report. Coach Mack, our second player of the week.
My pleasure, Coach. The second player of the week is none other than G Unit Uno, Gavin Kraut, athlete.
Gavin, welcome back to the show. Big win last week on your senior night. When you hear senior Gavin Kraut, we talked about this earlier in the year, but now that we're at senior night and beyond, what does that mean to you?
It means a lot, and I came a long ways. It went by fast. I ain't going to lie. I was just a freshman, but it means a lot. Just knowing I'm a senior and carry my team. Yes, sir.
Going by fast, it's hard to believe, Coach, we're almost at the end of the regular season.
Yeah, I was like looking to a red shirt or something, anything to get him back for another year. But, we told him, as a freshman, it's going to seem like a long time. And then once you hit sophomore, but junior year, you're just about a senior. Just really proud of the legacy that, Gavin and his teammates have left or are going to leave Terry Sanford on and off the field. It's impressive.
Gavin, how much do you think the team has grown over the course of the season?
feel like we've grown a lot. We became more connected. Like, it was during the summer. I feel like after the Kimmel camp, we all got to go there and showcase our talent. I feel like we came together as a group. And then towards the week, during the 71st game, we all gelled in, knowing this was a big game for us to win. Then after that, we just started going with the flow.
You know, just at practice every day, seeing these guys in the hallway, I would definitely say that the team bond is real.
Yes.
And that definitely helps a team at this point in the year when you've been grinding it out for weeks and months. Regular season's almost over and the playoffs are around the corner.
Well said.
You pretty much don't leave the field on Friday night. Just how does your body feel this time of the year, and what do you do to take care of yourself at this point in the season?
I'd be a little sore, but mainly I take ice baths at the house or drink water or stretch. That's what I mostly do, yes, sir.
You're just taking care of yourself, Coach, just getting ready for the grind that is the playoffs around the corner, Coach, is big for a team this time of the year.
Yeah, and Gavin, you know, like that is so unique because if you took him off of one of those spots, special teams, definitely offense and defense, man, it's such a big gap between him and the next guy up. You know, we got confidence in all our players, but Gavin's just been there, done it. He brings that mix of athletic ability and a little bit of nastiness that you need to be able to play football. It's just different when Gavin's on the field.
Gavin with a big pick six for us in the game on Friday night on senior night. Gavin, what do you enjoy more? Interception, pick six, or a big-time touchdown when the team needs it?
Big-time touchdown.
Coach, I'm not surprised to hear that, Coach.
No, you know, everybody wants to get in the end zone, and he's done it a plethora of ways. So I can see where he would be. I was waiting to see if it was going to be the big hit or the interception or something because he's so physical. But I get it. Game-winning touchdown would be high on my list as well.
Yeah, all of our fans that have come to our games, when they see jersey number 1 out there, they know he's about to make plays on both sides of the ball, big hits, big catches, whatever it might be. All right, you are a part of an offense that is so explosive. There's so many weapons out there. Just do you guys compete with each other every day in practice to see who has the best catch, the best stats on Friday? Just what's that like with so many weapons?
Nah, it'd be like that in practice sometimes when, like, so we got 7-on-7, so some of them go over there, give us a look. So, like, when we do that, we be trying to go at it. I want to see who can, like, so for offense, it's me and Zay on one side and Jordan and Seabass. So we be like, our group be like, our group better than yours. And then they be like, no, our group better. So, like, we be going back and forth to see who got the most yards and stuff like that.
Coach, that competition is great for a team, though.
Yeah, you see that common denominator in the athletes, the ones that are the best ones on your team. That competition level, no matter if it's practice, you know, just a pickup game. I've seen Gavin in the gym, and he hates to lose, and I love that about him. When you have a player that competes like that and hates to lose, you got a ball player.
Gavin does play basketball for our basketball team. Has a football player mentality out there, a physical guy, but hopefully that's not until mid to late December. Sorry, Coach Lowe, about that, but he's football right now. All right. We beat Cape Fear Friday night if we do what?
We just go out there and play our game. If we go out there and be physical, if we just go out there and just have fun for real. If we come out the same intensity we had when we played first, that same mindset, we'll win by 20.
You know, this is a big game, Coach, but the big games are fun for the players and coaches.
Yeah, we talk about it, you know, sometimes ad nauseum, but Monday through Thursday is our grind. That's when we win football games. Friday, we tell them we're going to let you off the leash, and that's the party. Friday's the party because you put in all that work Monday through Thursday, but you've got to grind and win each day and win every play.
Yes, sir.
Gav, looking forward to big things from you in the playoffs and the rest of the regular season.
Yes, sir.
We're back after these messages.
Yes, sir.
Go Dogs.
Back from our final timeout, Coach. We go to Cape Fear Friday night. Cape Fear is 7-1 on the year, with wins over Pine Forest, Grays Creek, Lumberton, Purnell Sweat, Douglasburg. They did lose to 71st on the field, second game of the year, but they got that win because of a forfeit and then a loss to Jack Britt. Coach, a rivalry game. When you were in high school, who were your rivals and what did those games mean to you?
Well, E. Smith has always been a big rival, and, you know, they were always in the top 10, and we were all 4A back then. And I'm telling you, man, when you have a rival in high school, it's hard not to look ahead to that game because you just know it's coming up. There's going to be a lot of chatter about it. Often you've got guys on the other team that you either grew up playing against or with. a lot of times with. So rivalries, especially in Cumberland County, you know, there's so many. You know, we had starting the one back with 71st, which is a big rival of ours and of mine in high school. So the rivalry games are the biggest ones. They're the hardest to not look ahead to, but the easiest to get ready for during that week.
Yeah, I'm really proud of the guys last week. You know, you focus on Lumberton. Everybody knows which game is the next week, but you got to be proud with how the teams played on Friday night. That was a good sign. They were totally focused on that opponent.
Yes.
Then you turn the page to Cape Fear. Do coaches and players, do you think, prepare any differently for the rivalry games?
You know me, I'm brutally honest. I was really proud. I think it has to do with our coaching staff, of course, and our leadership, you know, this year and the way they've been taught to be leaders. But, you know, you're going to give it that extra film session. Everybody's going to look at, you know, the extra film that week just to see if you can find something in the cracks. You really know, we know each other so well that you know what's coming. But even more so, you might even look at yourself, you know, and see if you can tweak something that maybe you're doing, or maybe set a guy a different angle on defense or offensively to gain an advantage. And then as if you know, depends on how many plays you're putting in. You know, we're putting in some plays this week, so, you know, you're going to spend a little extra time in install and things of that nature. But, you know, we respect everybody each week, but, you know, it is a rivalry, and those big games, you kind of give it that due attention.
Yeah, this is a team that we've played every year.
Yes.
This was a non-conference game for a long time, and because of the history between the two schools and fan bases going back years and years,
Yes.
it's different this year being a conference game. Normally it's week 2 or 3. Now it's at the end of the season. Now it's a senior night for Cape Fear.
Yes.
So that does change the game just a little bit, Coach.
Yeah, the stakes are a little bit higher when it's a conference game, you know, and especially when we were in the same division. You know, now they're 7A and we're 6A. It's more just for the bragging rights and for the conference status. But, you know, RPI, the way RPI is, us playing each other helps both. You know, it helps them, it helps us, the winner, the loser. But, you know, I'd be remiss if I didn't say, you know, everybody's, you know, more worried about the victory than they are the RPI and everything, the outline stuff.
Yep, conference game. The other conference games this week, Scotland plays Lumberton, Grays Creek, Purnell Sweat. So we're definitely the marquee game, not just in Fayetteville, but in the conference this week.
Yes.
Coach will be like embracing that role, being that team that everybody, you know, being the game that everybody wants to see.
Big games all year.
Offensively, Cape Fear is led by a senior quarterback who's been a 3-year starter for them, and a running game that really, really improved when number 1 Todd Phillips came back around conference play. You know,
True.
The coaching staffs have been pretty much intact the past few years.
Yep.
You know, we know them, they know us. It's like the NFL division games where you know your division
secrets.
opponents. Just talk about their offense, Coach.
Yeah, Geronimo, their quarterback, you know, big guy, very physical, very tough kid, throws the ball well. He's got the experience. And then, like you said, when you get one back, you get that 4.2 something speed in the backfield, man. It just changes, you know, how a defense has to play. And you got to be wary of him going out in the pass route, and obviously on any running play or anytime he touches the ball, you know, they're going to be they're going to want to run the football. They're going to want to control the clock and play, you know, strong defense, play towards their defense. But, you know, with him, they can hit a home run at any time.
You know, defensively, their coaching staff is a couple guys that you know well from coaching
Yes.
them when they were in high school.
Yep.
Defensively, just talk about what they want to do defensively, Coach.
Well, you know, Coach Thomas, Jake, and Joe Greats are very, very, very good coaches. They were like that, tough nose as players at Terry Sanford. You just have the utmost respect for them and what they've done over there. They're going to come after you. There's nobody sitting back on defense. They don't play a shell game or anything. They're going to send more than they think you can handle, and they're going to put pressure on you and make you make decisions, especially Jacob. Try to keep him in the pocket and make decisions at a quicker rate. Feel like a high school quarterback cannot make those decisions as quickly with the pressure. So it's going to be Katie bar the door type thing. They're going to bring everybody after you.
I always feel in games like this, special teams
Ton.
just becomes that much bigger. You know their offense, you know their defense, they know ours. Supposed to kickoff, PAT field goal. You
Yes.
got special teams. You
Punt
got to be
team.
locked in the entire time, Coach.
Yeah, last year, for instance, we had a fake play on and it's wide open and we don't hit it, and it totally was a huge play in the game early on. So it's a 3-phase game. You can play around with it all you want to, but special teams will be the most important thing that it's been all year. And Friday night it's gonna be even elevated in that game.
JV football Thursday night at home. We have 2 JV games to finish the year. 6:30 kickoff. Friday night, 7 o'clock kickoff. It is their senior night. We do encourage our fans to maybe allow a little more extra time, finding parking. Kind of have to walk a long way out there to get to the stadium.
We need them there. Yeah, we need them there.
We need the
our
atmosphere.
crowd.
Our players deserve a big game atmosphere, a rivalry. It's going to be packed. These are the types of games
Road
that you
dogs.
kind of wait for all season. No disrespect to other games, but this game, just hits a little bit different.
100%.
Conference games in town and all that. Appreciate you watching the show. Go Dogs.
Go Dogs.